The dying mother. The alien planet was burning, its skies red and full of smoke. The ground shook with the echoes of distant explosions. The air smelled of metal and fire. The once green forests now lay in ashes. Screaming creatures ran in every direction, and among them, a small alien mother crawled, her body weak, her blue skin scratched and bleeding. She held something close to her chest, something precious, her baby. A tiny blue infant with big black eyes. She whispered to it, her voice trembling. "Stay alive, my child." She stumbled over the cracked ground, glancing behind. She saw shadows moving, tall alien soldiers with glowing eyes. They were hunting her baby. Fear gripped her heart. She ran faster, but her legs could not hold her weight. She fell to her knees, the baby cried softly in her arms, a sound that tore at her chest. She looked around desperately. She needed help, anyone who could save her baby. Somewhere close, a small metallic building, half broken, stood alone, smoke rising from its roof. She dragged herself toward it. Every movement painful, every breath heavy. Her energy fading, she whispered, "Please, please." Inside the building, a human mechanic was working on a broken hovercar. His hands covered in oil and grease. He was small, quiet, focused on fixing what others said was impossible. He heard a noise outside, a soft but urgent cry. He turned and saw her, the alien mother, crawling toward him, her eyes full of pain, full of fear, and behind her, more shadows approached. She reached the doorway, and with trembling hands she held the baby out to him. Tears running down her face, she said, "Save my child." The human stared, his mind racing. He knew aliens could be dangerous. He knew this could be a trap, but he saw something in her eyes, something real, something desperate. He could not look away. The baby reached out, tiny hands grasping for him. The human's heart pounded. He felt fear and compassion at the same time. The mother's body shuddered. She coughed, blood trickling from her mouth. The soldiers were closer now. He heard their footsteps, metallic and heavy. The mother whispered again, "Please, do not let them take him." He stepped forward slowly, carefully, taking the baby into his arms, feeling its warmth, its fragile life. The mother sighed, relief and sorrow mixed in her eyes. "Thank you, my child," she said, and then she fell back. Her body limp, the baby safe in human hands, her life slipping away. The human looked down, unsure what to do. He felt the weight of responsibility. He felt fear, but he also felt something else, courage. Courage he did not know he had. He had to save this baby. He had to protect it. He had no choice now. The alien soldiers were almost at the door, their glowing eyes like fire. They wanted the baby. They would not stop. The human grabbed a toolkit, threw it at the nearest soldier, and ran, carrying the baby, ducking behind metal walls, the baby's cries echoing in the empty building. He ran as fast as he could, heart pounding, sweat running down his face, every step a risk, every sound a threat, but he could not stop. He could not look back. The mother was gone, and he was all the baby had. He found a small hidden passage under the building, a tunnel covered in old wires and broken machinery. He crawled through, dragging the baby. The soldiers above pounding on the doors, shouting in a language he did not understand. But the threat was clear: death, destruction, capture. He pushed forward, breathing heavy. The baby quieted in his arms, trusting him somehow. The human felt hope. Tiny, fragile hope. Maybe they could survive, maybe they could escape. But he knew it would not be easy. The planet was hostile. The soldiers were relentless. And he was only one human carrying a fragile alien baby. Finally, he reached the end of the tunnel. A small platform overlooking a ruined city, the wind blowing ash into his face, the baby asleep in his arms. He looked down at the streets, the soldiers searching. He knew they would come for him. He knew this was only the beginning. The baby's life was more valuable than anything, more than gold, more than power, more than himself. He whispered, "Don't worry. I will keep you safe." He looked at the horizon, red sky, burning mountains, and he realized this was not just a baby, this was hope. Hope for the alien race, hope for the galaxy, and he was the one holding it. One human against an army, one human against the universe, and the journey was only starting. The mother's last words echoed in his mind, "Save my child." And the human knew he would not fail, no matter what came, no matter how dark the path. He would protect this child, and somehow, against all odds, they would survive. The human's choice. The human ran through the tunnel, the baby wrapped tightly in his arms, its small body trembling with every step. The shadows of the alien soldiers above were like thunder, their boots pounding, voices shouting commands he could not understand. Fear gripped him, but he could not stop. He could not fall. He had promised the mother. promised with his heart, and now he had to keep that promise, no matter the cost. The tunnel opened into a ruined city, skyscrapers broken, roads cracked, machines scattered like bones of giants. The wind carried ash and smoke. The air burned in his lungs, yet he ran, hiding in the shadows, slipping through alleys and broken streets, every corner a danger, every sound a warning. He knew the soldiers would find him soon. He knew they would not give up, but he could not turn back. The baby was alive, and that was all that mattered. He found an abandoned workshop, its walls covered in rust, tools hanging like forgotten memories, the smell of oil and metal strong. He placed the baby gently on a pile of soft cloths. His hands shaking, he looked at the tiny creature, its black eyes staring up at him, innocent, pure. Unaware of the danger, he whispered, "I will protect you. I swear it." But the baby moved strangely, its small hands glowing faintly, a pulse of light that made the human step back. Fear and wonder mixed in his chest. The baby was not ordinary. The mother's words echoed in his mind, "Save my child." He realized slowly this child was special, more than he could understand, more than anyone could imagine. The galaxy itself would notice. He had to be careful. One wrong move, one mistake, and both of them would die. He decided to leave the city, to find safety, somewhere far, somewhere hidden. But the alien soldiers were clever. They had trackers, sensors, devices he could not see. He could feel their presence, shadows moving in the distance, watching, waiting. He needed a plan, a way to survive, not just for a few hours, but for days, weeks, maybe months. He had to keep the baby alive until they could escape the planet. He remembered an old shipyard on the edge of the city, ships broken, half buried in sand and rubble. One ship he could fix, a small transport craft, fast, small, could hide in the asteroid fields nearby. If he could reach it, they could escape. They could leave this burning world behind. But the path was dangerous. The soldiers patrolled everywhere. They would not let him go easily, and he was only one man with a fragile baby in his arms. But determination burned in him, stronger than fear. He moved at night, the city dark, broken lights flickering, the baby sleeping quietly, the glow of its small hands now gone. He wondered, what was this child? Why was it so important? The mother had sacrificed everything to save it, and now he understood the universe had chosen him to protect the last hope of a dying alien race. He felt weight on his shoulders, heavier than any machine he had ever lifted, heavier than any battle he had ever fought. But he did not falter. He would not falter. As he approached the shipyard, he heard them, footsteps behind him, soft but fast, closer, shadows moving, a sense of dread filling the air. He turned a corner and saw two soldiers blocking the path, glowing weapons ready, their eyes like fire. The human's heart raced. He looked at the baby, its eyes opening, and then something impossible happened. The baby's small hands glowed again, stronger, brighter. A pulse of energy shot toward the soldiers. Knocking them back, the human fell to the ground. Stunned, the baby had power, incredible power, power beyond anything he had seen, and the soldiers retreated, hissing, scanning the area, confused and frightened by the child's abilities. The human picked up the baby, holding it close, fear mixed with awe. He whispered, What are you?" The baby looked up at him, eyes wide, almost human in emotion, and the human felt a bond, unbreakable, a promise stronger than life itself. Together they ran. The shipyard near, escape possible, but the danger was far from over. He could feel it. The universe itself seemed to be watching, waiting, testing. And he realized this was only the beginning, the first step of a journey that would change everything. He reached the ship, small, damaged but repairable. He pushed open the hatch, climbed in, placing the baby in the passenger seat, its small hands resting on the console, glowing faintly as if sensing the controls. The human's hands flew over switches, repairing engines, starting fuel lines, systems coming alive with sparks and hums. The ship shuddered, ready, almost alive. And then outside, the soldiers arrived again. More than before, weapons raised, ready to destroy, to take the baby, to end this chance of hope forever. The human gritted his teeth, holding the baby tightly. He whispered, "We will not die. We will survive." He started the engines. The ship rumbled, dust and debris flying. The soldiers fired, blasts hitting metal and sparks flying. The ship lifted, shaking violently. The baby's glow brightened as if powering the ship, and then, with one last pulse of energy, the ship soared into the night sky, leaving the burning city behind. The alien soldiers screaming in frustration below, and the human knew the baby was safe for now. But the galaxy had bigger plans. challenges ahead, and they were only at the start of a story that would shake the universe itself. The dangerous journey. The stars stretched across the sky like silver fire. The human gripped the controls, the baby in his arms glowing faintly, lighting up the cockpit. The small ship rattled, engines screaming, sparks flying from damaged circuits. The alien soldiers were not far behind, their ships cutting through space like hunting wolves. Fast, silent, deadly, and the human knew they had no choice. They had to outrun them, but escape alone was impossible. He had to be clever. He had to fight. He had to survive. The baby's small hands glowed brighter with each jolt of the ship, tiny fingers tracing the panels, lights responding, systems stabilizing, almost as if the child understood, as if it knew what to do. The human stared, awe and fear mixing in his chest. He whispered, How are you doing this?" The baby only looked at him with those big black eyes, innocent yet full of power. The kind of power that could destroy armies or save worlds, and the human realized. This was no ordinary child. This was a key, a spark that could ignite the galaxy. Behind them, the alien fleet grew, ships slicing through the darkness, weapons charging. A storm of death ready to fall. The human's heart raced. He plotted a course through the asteroid field, jagged rocks floating like giants in space. One wrong move, one collision, and they would die. But the baby's glow pulsed, almost guiding him, almost telling him where to go. He followed instinct, weaving between rocks, twisting the small ship, the hull scraping stones, alarms blaring, engines straining. The soldiers fired, blasts hitting nearby asteroids, rocks exploding, shards flying past them. But they survived, inch by inch, breath by breath. After hours of flight, the human found a hidden planet shrouded in mist, half hidden in shadows. No signs of life, a place forgotten by maps. He landed the ship carefully, wheels skidding on cracked soil. The baby slept, its glow dim, energy spent. The human took a moment, catching his breath, looking at the horizon. This place was dangerous, unknown, but it was safe. For now, a chance to recover, to think, to plan, and maybe to understand the child in his arms. He explored the planet cautiously, the air thin, strange sounds echoing in the fog, strange plants glowing faintly. Whispering in the wind, he felt eyes watching. He knew they were not alone. Alien life may be dangerous, maybe curious, maybe both. He hugged the baby close, whispering, "We can't trust anyone. Not yet." Every shadow could hide a threat. Every sound could be an enemy. And the baby stirred, small hands glowing again, pulsing energy, almost sensing danger, almost warning him. And he realized the child was more than a baby. It was alive in ways he had never seen. Connected to the universe, a heartbeat that could shake worlds. Suddenly the fog shifted, a shadow larger than any creature he had seen before, moving fast, limbs stretching, glowing eyes staring. The human froze, instinct screaming. The creature lunged, but the baby's hands glowed. A pulse of energy shot out, hitting the creature, throwing it back, hissing, shrieking, retreating into the fog. The human held his breath, amazed, terrified. The baby's powers were growing, stronger than anything he had imagined. And yet he could feel danger, greater than before, approaching. He knew the soldiers were still out there, tracking them, waiting for the right moment. The human built a small shelter from rocks and metal, placing the baby inside a safe corner, watching it sleep, glowing faintly like a star in the dark. He realized he had to teach, to protect, to guide this child, because the galaxy would notice soon. The powers it had were no secret for long. Others would come, powerful beings. Hunters, rulers who wanted to control, to destroy, to use, and he was the only one standing between them and the child, an ordinary human against extraordinary forces. Hours passed, then days. The human repaired the ship, gathered strange resources, the baby's powers growing, pulsing energy, small sparks jumping across the room, almost playful, almost mischievous, and yet he could feel the weight of destiny pressing down. This child was not just life, it was hope. It was a key to survival. Maybe a key to change the galaxy itself, and he whispered, "We will survive." Together. Then came the night of the storm. Black clouds swirling, lightning crackling, strange energy in the sky. The baby woke, glowing brighter than ever, screaming softly. Small voice echoing in the shelter. The human realized it was sensing danger. Real danger. Incoming ships. More alien soldiers, faster, more aggressive than before. He grabbed the baby, running toward the ship. Heart pounding, mind racing. "Hold on. We fight, we survive." As they took off, the child's hands glowing, energy pulsing into the engines. The ship shot through the storm, lightning hitting the hull, Sparks flying, alarms screaming. The soldiers firing, lasers cutting space around them. The human fought controls, navigating the storm, and yet the baby's power was growing, almost guiding him, almost alive in its own mind, and he realized this was no longer just survival. This was the start of a legend, a story that would be told across galaxies. One human, one alien child against all odds, against darkness, against impossible forces. The ship finally broke through the storm. The stars open ahead, silence for a moment. The baby sleeping peacefully, glowing faintly. The human exhaling, exhausted, scared, alive, and he knew the journey was only starting. Greater dangers awaited, greater enemies, mysteries of the child, secrets of the galaxy, and one promise burned in his heart, stronger than fear, stronger than death itself. He would protect this child no matter what, no matter who, no matter the cost. The hidden power, the stars stretched endlessly outside the ship. The human gripped the controls, sweat dripping from his forehead, the baby resting in his arms, glowing softly, its energy pulsing like a heartbeat in the cockpit. He felt the weight of the galaxy pressing down on him, every star a witness, every shadow a threat, and he knew whatever came next would not be simple, not even close. The universe was changing around them, and the child was at the center of it. As they traveled, strange signals began appearing on the ship's sensors, patterns he had never seen, pulses of energy moving like whispers across the cosmos. He frowned, adjusting controls, trying to track, and then it hit him. These signals were alive, almost intelligent, responding to the baby's glow, moving faster as if drawn to its power, and fear clenched his heart. Enemies were coming, and not just the soldiers, something older, more dangerous, more terrifying. He decided to land on a hidden moon, gray and barren with jagged cliffs and craters deep as canyons, the surface covered in silver dust, untouched by civilization, perfect to hide, perfect to rest, perfect to think. But as he stepped out of the ship, carrying the baby, he noticed faint tracks in the dust, large, clawed, moving in patterns, deliberate. Waiting, he froze, instinct screaming. The child stirred, glowing brighter, small hands reaching out, sensing, warning. And then the ground shook. A shadow moved across the horizon, taller than mountains, faster than anything he had ever seen. The creature emerged, armor like scales, eyes glowing red, energy radiating from it like fire. It spoke, in a voice that echoed across his mind, not words, not sounds, but a feeling, a warning. Child, belongs. Power, ours. The human froze, terrified, clutching the baby, and then the baby responded, small hands glowing, energy shooting out, a pulse so strong it made the ground crack. The creature staggered, surprised, unprepared, and the human realized this child could fight, could defend, could change everything. But it was only a child, innocent, vulnerable, and he had to protect it. As the night fell, the moon's shadows stretching like claws, more shadows appeared, alien figures, not soldiers, something ancient, watching, waiting, drawn by the child's energy. The human knew they had no time, no safety, and he had to act fast. He whispered, "We fight." Together, the baby's eyes glowed brighter, pulsing, a strange hum filling the air. The human felt it, a connection, a bond, stronger than anything, almost like the child was speaking through energy, telling him what to do, where to move, how to survive. The fight began without warning, the ground shaking as the creatures attacked, energy blasts cutting through the moon's surface, debris flying. The human dodged, rolled, fired small weapons from the ship, using his mind and instincts to survive. But the baby's powers were the real weapon, glowing hands, pulsing energy, sending waves that knocked the attackers back, almost as if the universe itself was protecting them. The human stared in awe, fear, and disbelief, realizing the child was not just strong. It was a force of nature, unstoppable, dangerous, unpredictable. Suddenly, a massive creature landed, larger than any he had seen. Energy swirling around it, the human froze, realizing the stakes were higher than he imagined. This was no ordinary enemy. This was something that could destroy worlds. And it focused on the baby, moving faster than thought. Claws reaching, energy crackling, he ran, dodged, and the baby reacted, hands glowing like twin suns, energy expanding, pushing the creature back, staggering it, creating a shield of pure power, and the human realized something impossible. The child could not just defend. It could reshape reality, bend energy, control matter, a power that could rival the strongest civilizations in the galaxy. But the danger was far from over. From the shadows, more creatures emerged, their numbers overwhelming. Ancient hunters sent by unknown forces, seeking the child's energy. The human knew he had to escape. Fight would only delay, not win. He picked up the baby, ran toward the ship. Energy blasts flying, explosions rocking the ground. The baby's glow brightening, almost guiding them, showing him a path through the chaos. The human's heart raced, fear and courage intertwined. One mistake could cost them everything. As they boarded the ship, the baby's energy surged, waves pulsing across the surface, sending the attackers flying. The human barely managed to start engines, ship lifting off, shaking violently, escaping the moon just as the creatures tried to follow. The baby asleep again, glowing faintly. Calm, almost serene, the human exhaled, trembling, exhausted, awed, and he realized this was no longer just survival. This was destiny. This child's power would change the galaxy, and he, an ordinary human, was chosen to protect it, to guide it, to survive with it no matter the enemies, no matter the cost, no matter the darkness waiting ahead. The stars stretched before them again, infinite, mysterious, dangerous, beautiful, and the human whispered, "We are not safe. Not yet. But together we will face whatever comes." And in the baby's glow, he felt hope, power, and a future that no one could imagine. A journey that would shake the universe, a story of courage, heart, and survival. And he knew the next step would be the hardest, the most dangerous, and the most unforgettable of all. The final reckoning, the stars stretched endlessly. The human gripped the controls, the baby glowing softly in his arms. But this time the glow was stronger, almost blinding, a pulse that seemed to echo across the galaxy itself. He could feel it, the energy vibrating through the ship, and he knew the final battle had arrived. There was no more running, no more hiding. The forces chasing them had grown, stronger, smarter, relentless, and now they would not stop until they had the child. From the sensors, dozens of ships appeared, moving in perfect formation, faster than anything the human had ever seen, weapons glowing, energy crackling around them. They were not just soldiers, they were hunters, elite, ancient, sent by rulers who had waited centuries for the child's power. And the human knew if he failed, the universe itself could fall into chaos. He held the baby closer, whispering, "We will survive, no matter what." The baby stirred, tiny hands glowing, pulsing energy into the ship, systems responding as if alive, guiding them, protecting them, almost speaking without words, almost telling him that this was their moment to fight, not flee. As they approached the battlefield, a massive ship emerged, larger than a city, energy shields glowing, weapons charging. Inside shadows moved powerful beings, their eyes fixed on the baby, their intentions clear. Control, destruction, domination, and the human felt a chill, knowing this was no ordinary enemy. This was the culmination of every danger they had faced, the final reckoning, and yet in the baby's glow, he felt courage, hope, and unstoppable force. The human maneuvered the ship carefully, dodging energy blasts, weaving through debris, the baby's hands glowing, sending pulses that deflected attacks. The enemies screamed in frustration. They had never faced such power, such resistance, and the human realized the child was not just a baby, not just a being of energy, it was a symbol, a force that could change the balance of the galaxy. And now, they had to prove it. Then the massive enemy ship unleashed a wave of energy, a storm of destruction. The small ship rocked violently, alarms blaring, systems failing, and the human held the baby tightly, shielding it, heart pounding, mind racing. He knew only one chance remained. The baby's power had grown, he could feel it, almost conscious, almost alive, and he whispered, "Now, show them." The child's glow exploded, brighter than a star, waves of energy rippling outward, tearing through the battlefield. Enemy ships thrown back, energy shields collapsing, creatures screaming, retreating, and for a moment silence, awe, disbelief across the galaxy. But the danger was not gone. A figure emerged from the largest ship, cloaked in shadows, eyes glowing with malice, energy radiating like fire. It moved toward them faster than thought, stronger than anything, and the human realized this was the true enemy, the one behind all the hunts, all the battles, the one who wanted the child's power for control, for domination, for destruction, and he knew this would be the ultimate test of courage, of human will, of the bond between them and the child. As the figure reached the ship, the baby stirred again, glowing fiercely, energy pulses extending outward, bending space, tearing reality. The human held his ground, fear replaced with determination. He shouted, "We are not yours." And the figure hesitated, surprised, unprepared for such resistance, Such power, and in that moment, the child's glow expanded, a wave of pure energy illuminating the darkness, revealing the enemy's true form. Ancient, terrifying, but vulnerable to the light, the human realized they had the power to win. If only they trusted each other, if only they believed, then the battle became a storm, energy clashing against energy, the human maneuvering, the baby guiding, striking, defending, shaping the battlefield, the enemy screaming in fury, sending blasts trying to overwhelm. But the child's power was unstoppable, almost intelligent, almost sentient, and the human knew this was the moment that would define everything. The galaxy, life, survival, destiny itself. Finally, the enemy fell, energy dispersing into the void. Silence returning, the human breathed, exhausted, trembling, holding the baby, whose glow faded to soft warmth, almost human, almost serene. The galaxy around them calm, the threat gone for now. But the story was not over. They had survived against impossible odds, against ancient hunters, against darkness itself, and yet the human realized they had not just survived, they had won, changed, transcended. The human looked at the baby, smiling through tears, whispering, "We did it. We survived. We are stronger." Together, the baby cooed, small hands reaching for him, glowing faintly, a heartbeat of hope in the vast galaxy, and he knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would remember. Legends would speak of the human and the child, of courage, of survival, of hope, of power, and he smiled knowing that together, nothing could stop them, nothing could break them. The final reckoning had passed, and a new story had begun. As the ship flew into the stars, the baby sleeping peacefully, the human whispered once more, "We are ready for whatever comes next." And in the infinite darkness of space, a light shone, faint but steady, a symbol of hope, power, and the unbreakable bond between a human and a child who could change the galaxy forever.